Did you just recently get pulled over?
Shut the fuck up.
Sometimes people say, where's my loved ones? Why didn't my loved ones stop me from this? Why didn't my loved ones intervene when this happens, right? Sometimes your loved ones intervene in a way that you don't want them to intervene. First of all, I gotta tell you something. Your uncle is telling me, Matt, I need to apologize to my family. He says for not communicating with them and not speaking to them at the end, because he shows me that there was this void in communication where you hadn't heard from him or hadn't spoken to him before his passing.
I filed a missing report.
A missing report because you hadn't heard from him.
He talked to me every day. I was the only one.
And that's when you found out that he had died? So that's what he's here to talk about. He's showing me when I'm connecting that there was somebody else with him the day that he died. And that's why I'm having issues understanding what had happened. So, do I think that he was murdered or killed? No. But do I know that he wasn't alone when he had passed? Yes. And what was sad is he keeps showing me that somebody left him, that somebody could have done something, so that means either called the police, had been there, done something to help him, and they didn't. Because he shows me using and taking drugs with somebody else. That's what I'm seeing. He says to me, Matt, he says, you don't understand. He says, throughout my life, this is how I was. He says, I drank. He says, I smoked. He says, I did drugs here in this world. He says, I got up for work and I went the next day, he tells me. He tells me that when he was here, he thought that he was invincible here in the physical world. But what was tough is that what he had taken, right, wasn't something that he expected. He says to me, Matt, the one thing that I want to let my family know is that I should have stayed close to them. Because he tells me that your family is so upset with him and so mad because he would always do these crazy things. He would always venture off and go off on his own. And he says to me, Matt, if there's one thing that I could have changed about my life is I should have stayed with my family. I should have stayed with the people that loved me. That's what he tells me. He says, but what he needs you to know about his passing is this. He is taking full responsibility for what happened to him here in this world. Because he needs you to know that at the end of the day, as much as your family is questioning, as much as your family is mad and upset and hurt over what had happened, this is his way of letting you know from the other side, I don't want to leave you with that pain. He says, this was the life that I chose here in this world. And if I could do this again, he said, I would have gone and came home to my family. That's what he tells me. So know that he wants to thank you for the way that you stayed in touch with him, for the way that you loved him, because to him, he was more than just an uncle to you. He was like another dad within your life. And he tells me that within your life, he never forgot anything with you. Birthdays, holidays, celebrations, and it's crazy because you were like the daughter that he never had here in this world. So please know that as much as you say, oh my God, I wish that I could go and talk to him or connect with him, he says, this is my way of coming back to you. Because it was in my life that you were always there for me. You were always checking up on me. He says, and today, he says, I'm coming through to a medium to check up on you and see what you're doing. But he also tells me you need to calm down a little bit. He tells me you got like road rage here in this world. He says, and Matt, can you please tell her to stop the crazy driving here in the physical?
What can I say? I don't know.
I'm sorry, what?
Nothing. Just being.
He says to me, Matt, he says, I see her in the car, and what the hell did you just recently get pulled over?
Shut the fuck up. Yeah, my car's been towed. I've been without a car for like a week now. Something with insurance, girl cop, I don't know.
I'm gonna tell you something, it wasn't the girl cop. Do you know your uncle tells me he got your ass towed?
Yeah, well.
He said to me, Matt, he says, I saw what she was doing. He says, I saw that she was, he goes, I'm gonna be honest with you, all right? I gotta tell you exactly what they're telling me. Your uncle's telling me that you were smoking the silly smoke here in this world.
I'm gonna say.
And he says to me, Matt, he goes, she thought I kept secrets. Now that I'm on the other side, I know her secrets. He says, he goes, and you gotta know, he goes, that that's how I was here in this world. He goes, in our family, he says, I grew up where if you pinch the kid's hands in the door, he says that you had to stick your hands in and get the same punishment. He says, so I gotta tell her, he says, that I saw her screwing off in the effing car, he says, and I made sure the police found her and towed the car.
Yeah.
So when you were saying, oh my God.
There was nothing wrong anyway. She was like, insurance. I'm like, I have full active insurance. I literally just got done smoking. I'm not even kidding. I was like, oh shit, here we go.
He says to me, he goes, Matt, he goes, He says it was all her fault. He says that he goes, I was the one who made it happen. Because listen, sometimes people say, where's my loved ones? Why didn't my loved ones stop me from this? Why didn't my loved ones intervene when this happens, right? Sometimes your loved ones intervene in a way that you don't want them to intervene, right? This is one of those ways. Everybody thinks when they talk to a medium and, oh, my loved ones or my guardian angels are watching over me, that's like this amazing thing where like the angels come down and stop the car and do all these things, right? But sometimes they give you these little wake-up calls, right? So when you were smoking and puffing the magic dragon, and all of a sudden, you're driving thinking, I'm fine, I got full insurance, my car's registered, I'm good.
I was making money while I was smoking, it was fine.
And all of a sudden, your ass got towed.
Oh, yeah.
That's your uncle's way of telling you, listen, just because he died doesn't mean that he stopped loving you. And that he wants you to slow down. He wants you to keep your eyes on the road and to know one thing. He says, Matt, you don't know. He says, I stopped her from an accident that was about to happen. So
yeah, there was 5 cars piled up behind me, but it wasn't my fault. Someone in front of me stopped really fast, and I wasn't really paying attention, so I stopped fast too.
I'm going to leave it with that because I don't want to know anything else from your uncle. But please know, wait a minute, don't hand that microphone back right now. Please know that this is his way of letting you know that on the other side, he is okay. He is watching over you, and know that you are never alone. His soul is always and forever with you.